Hey folks, Leon Gregory here from Brookfield, Wisconsin. And tonight, I hope you don't mind, but I'm going to get a little bit personal. I know you all know with the Empower Network, and we got something new and exciting coming on and everything else, but something that kind of hit me when you get the smoke out of the picture. But, we found out my dad has cancer. And, he's 84 years young, and he's a hell of a guy. I mean, I'd like him even if he wasn't my dad. He's one of those guys that he's always been there for me. He's always been my rock. And our friendship developed even more once he discovered that I was actually an adult and not just his kid. And that took a few years, but ever since then we've been able to talk as friends rather than just plus father and son. And he's always had my back for me. And for that, I'll be ever always grateful to him. He's taught me quite a few things. He's taught me how to teach people respect. I mean, he could have been a salesman. He never forgot people's names. He always greeted them. He always had something kind to say about them, something good to say about them. He always made the people feel like they were his personal friends, and I'm sure they were. You know, um, how this all kind of got started in that is, a few weeks ago, and that he was feeling really tired. And one thing he liked to do is go shoot pool with his buddies and that. And he was too tired to do that. And so he went to the doctor, and they found out that his heart was only beating at like 20 to 30 beats a minute rather than 60. And Molly, please, she just wants to be petted right now. Um, but anyhow, so he went to have the pacemaker put in, and from what my stepmom tells me, and that he drove the nurses crazy. Which would be him. Um, and he came through that with flying colors. And so while he was going back to the hospital, get some skin cancer removed from his ear, and went to the doctor's office, make sure everything was all set, and they had recheck his potassium levels because he was having a bit of a challenge with that, and I mentioned to the doctors, that he was peeing blood. So the doctor says, well, we'll get a CAT scan while you're up there too. So when he went to the hospital and they removed the skin cancer, did the CAT scan, he told the doc, he says, I only own a dog, but I could get a cat if you need it. You see where I get my sense of humor from him, and he would appreciate that. But anyhow, when they got back from the hospital, they had a phone call waiting for him, telling him to get back to the hospital. They got a bed ready for him, and they found a mass growing on his bladder. Well, they took the tumor off, and while he was recovering from that, they found out that it was cancer. But he's back home and he's in great spirits. And yesterday we were talking, and he was telling me about all the good-looking nurses that took care of him. Because that's the kind of guy he is. He appreciates beauty. And if they happen to be female, so much the better. And so he was telling me, all the things that went on in the hospital, because he has this little game he likes to play, and I don't know how he does it, but he's always got a paper bag with him, a lunch bag size, and he's got this thing where he'll open it up and he'll hand you a ball. Of course, there's no ball there; it's invisible, and he wants you to throw it into the bag. And when you throw it into the bag, he snaps that bag and makes it sound like something landed in it. Now, he's been doing this ever since I was a kid. And I guess he did this with a couple nurses up there and that. And, the one thing he was telling me how he was sitting and waiting for the nurses to come and get him to do some therapy and that. And he was pretending, he was bouncing the ball off the wall and catching it in the bag and throwing it and catching it in the bag and catching it and throwing it, catching it in the bag. And he said the nurses walked in. He says, "Oh, Leon, if you could have seen their faces." And I could just imagine. They're probably thinking this guy should be in the Looney Tunes and not going to physical therapy. Well, anyhow, I guess I'm getting a little long here. But my dad means a lot to me. And he's a fighter. And he'll do whatever it takes here. And that he knows he's lived a pretty long life already. But I sure would like to have him around for another 5-6 years or so. He's always backed me. He's backed me and believed in me. And he's thought I was always a little bit crazy for starting businesses and having this dream of having my own business. But since we've joined the Empower Network and that, he's noticed a change in me, a different change. And he's really behind us. And wants us as much success as we can have. And what more can he ask for from a dad? Oh, I told myself that this wasn't going to happen. And but I guess it did. My dad means a lot to me, though. It's too bad he lives so far away that I can't be there for him all the time that he's in the hospital. But that's something I'm trying to remedy, and using the Empower Network as a platform that soon I can leave that JOB behind and I can be anywhere, any place, anytime with any family member that I need to be. How about you? You feel that same way? Well, I am going to have just one link down in the description below. And if you want to check out the Empower Network, please do so. And if not, thanks for watching anyhow. And I wish you the best health and anything for your parents, your loved ones. Because this can get to be tough. I'm just glad I love them as much as I do. So, we'll talk just later. Have a great night.